Good afternoon, YouTube. DutyRon checking back in here with another video. And today we're going to talk about some updates to the Suzanne Morphew case out of Colorado. Quite a few things have been happening in this case, and I want to talk to you guys about it. Guys, my name is DutyRon, retired New York City police detective with 20 plus years in law enforcement. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you will get all things DutyRon when I do go live or upload a video. I want to say a special thank you to all my channel members, my Patreon supporters, and all the people who subscribe and leave positive comments in the comments section, and everybody that comes over into the DutyRon.com website. It is greatly appreciated. Again, we're trying to follow this case in a professional way to help bring people up to date and people up to speed in what's happening. And the guys over at Profiling Evil, Mike King and Chris McDonough, are doing a fantastic job of helping out Andy. That's Suzanne Morphew's brother. They have a website, part of the website set up for the search that's going to take place down on September 23rd in Colorado. Andy, that's Suzanne's brother, is going to be flying out there with, they have over 200 responses to that website, or maybe even more at this point. So there's been a lot of information and a lot of people coming out wanting to lend a hand in the search down there in Colorado. Welcome into everybody joining. I appreciate each and every one of you. It is Labor Day weekend, and most of us are celebrating the end of the summer. However, the Morphew family and the Mormon family are not celebrating probably too much. They have Suzanne, who's been missing since Mother's Day, May 10th, and now we're going on September 10th, one day before September 11th. We'll have a 4-month anniversary of her missing. Hopefully we could bring her home to the family sooner than later. And again, I can't say enough good about the Profiling Evil website. Mike King and Chris McDonough doing a fantastic job bringing they're in the news. They they're having articles written about them and covered through their media contacts over there in Utah, and I can't say enough good about those guys. So if you're not subscribed to them, please go over. I know most of the people who watch me are watching them, and these guys are doing great things. I greatly appreciate when a fellow law enforcement professional like those two guys and myself go out and go above and beyond the call of duty in retirement to do the right thing. And despite anything that you might hear out there in the Twitter sphere or in Facebook, I like to call it fake book. If you hear stuff on fake book, then guess what? It's probably not true. Those guys are doing a bang up job. They're not being paid for it. They're not making any money. They're not capitalizing on anything other than they're continuing their service to the community. They're continuing their public service as law enforcement professionals and going above and beyond what most of us can do. A lot of people have regular lives going on and don't have the time to dedicate to stuff like this. And I got to commend Mike and Chris tremendously for going out and doing the right thing by this family. So I did see, for those of you who haven't, I did see the Barry Morphew. I read his interview that he gave. He's stating that he feels that this is an old song and dance. He feels that the law enforcement fudged the investigation. Chaffee County sheriffs have put out a Chaffee County Sheriffs put out a notice on their website that they're continuing every day to investigate with the CBI, with the FBI, and the local sheriff's office. They're continuing their investigation. Gemma, thank you for becoming a member. Gemma, great to see you. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you renewing the membership. Again, law enforcement is stating that there's not a day that goes by that they're not investigating. And when you see and hear stories of like Barry Morphew's co-worker that went to that Holiday Inn Express and smelt chlorine or strong odor of cleaning agent in his room, and he left behind notes and things of like land insurance and things of that nature. All of that has been, if in fact that is true, has all been given over to the CBI, the FBI, and local authorities. So this is not groundbreaking investigatory evidence. That evidence has been taken into custody if it was in fact there. And I'm not saying that it wasn't, but I'm just saying in layman's terms, if there was anything that needs to be investigated, these guys are on it. And if there was arrestable evidence in the fact that I say something that is substantial that would be able to enable law enforcement to effect a lawful arrest, an arrest would have been made already. So trust me on this. If they had enough to arrest Barry Morphew, anybody that's involved. Meg Lowe, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. $25. I appreciate you. Love your channel. Continued success. Meg Lowe over in Southern Cal, San Diego. Can't wait to see you if you make the journey up here next week. Thank you for that super chat. Dawn Marie, great to see you. Yeah, you know, we have to remember, everybody that's here in the chat, what we have to remember is it's not about us, it's about them. You know, so many victims, so many families are forgotten victims of these heinous crimes. When people go missing, when people get murdered, when people become a victim of a really heinous crime, we always look at the actual crime itself, but what we forget is, Raven, thank you for becoming a channel member. I appreciate Raven the Blackbird. Thank you. Welcome to the DutyRon family. What we forget about this, what we forget about is when we get wrapped up in these cases, we sometimes forget that there is surviving family members that listen and watch and read about their loved ones. So we have to really be careful and conscious about what we say and what we do, because there are real people behind this. There's family, there's friends, there's neighbors, there's community people. It affects a large group of people. Any crime, you know, whether it's on the national scale like this one is, or whether it's on the local scale, you have to be very aware, hyper-aware, hypersensitive to the feelings of the family. So we hope and pray that law enforcement, with the FBI, with the unbelievable amount of resources the FBI has, the federal government has a ton of resources for in the investigatory area to do criminal forensics. So give them time. I mean, we want to get answers. Human nature, right? We all are human. Human nature says we want answers, and we want them now. So I'm gonna play a quick clip of Andy Mormon talking about. This was after the candlelight vigil that was held recently in his hometown in Indiana. So let's listen to Suzanne Morphew's brother speak. I'll just segue over to that, and we'll come right back.
Of a Chaffee County woman who has been missing for more than 4 months says they're not giving up the search. Suzanne Morphew disappeared after leaving her Salida home for a bike ride back on Mother's Day. For weeks, law enforcement searched for her with no luck. Suzanne's brother organized a vigil for her in his hometown of Alexandria, Indiana this weekend. It was part of a plea to his community to help them find his sister. Andrew Mormon says they're currently organizing a large search effort to come here to Colorado, and they hope to find the mother of two, or at least find out some answers about what happened to her. Mormon says he suspects foul play in her disappearance.
Suzanne would never leave her home or her daughters. There's just no way. And she's hidden way too well. A predator doesn't do that. A robber doesn't do that. This is something other than that.
Family members say they hope to start searching around Salida on September 23rd. Right now, dozens of people in the Alexandria community have agreed to make the trip with them.
Okay, so that was her brother making that statement. It's heartbreaking to listen to him. I just want to show you also here now the update from the Chaffee County Sheriff's website. Here is the latest news release. It was September 3rd that they released this statement, and I'll read it to you guys for those of you who are out of the country that maybe do not have access to this. I'll make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. I'll move it over. Actually, you can't see it if I do that. All right, let's make it so I could read it. All right, so this is the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office, Salida, Colorado, September 3rd, 2020. On Mother's Day, May 10th, 2020, Suzanne Morphew was reported missing to the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office. Almost immediately, the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office was asked for assistance from the CBI, Colorado Bureau of Investigation, the CBI, as well as the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. A search for Suzanne started immediately, and over the course of the past nearly 4 months, over 100 personnel, including air support, watercraft, water equipment, drones, and numerous types of canine have been utilized in the attempt to find Suzanne Morphew. A tip line, which I've linked down in the description below, was immediately established, and hundreds of tips have been filed and are being investigated. Again, I've linked in the description the tip line. I've put the tip line in every single video that I made. I think it was about 6 or 7 videos about this case I've made. The investigation team has conducted hundreds of interviews, both in Colorado and out of state, continue to develop leads and contact potential persons who may have information into the disappearance of Suzanne Morphew. With the assistance of both CBI and the FBI, our investigative team has tapped the full resources of both agencies. And that's exactly what I talked about earlier, is that the Federal Bureau, the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, has a world of resources. And both Chris McDonough and Mike King and I, and any law enforcement professional that has dealings, I dealt with the New York FBI office, and they were a busy group over there, and I dealt with them many times. And their team over there is unbelievable. Over in New York office is just tremendous. The tremendous amount of help they've given to the NYPD in the counterterrorism department and things of that nature. So FBI being on here is unbelievable. Margie, thank you so much for that super chat. Thank you for your continued service. Margie, God bless. Thank you. As with any investigation, our responsibility and priority is to determine the facts and maintain the integrity of the investigation. Our sole focus is either finding Suzanne Morphew or determining the circumstances behind her disappearance. And the only way to do this is to keep the information gathered as the results of this investigation under seal. In other words, they want to keep the evidence that they have under wraps, because they don't want to taint their investigation if they do find someone that is responsible for her disappearance. They want to successfully prosecute and have a conviction. So this statement right here, our sole focus is either finding Suzanne Morphew or determining the circumstances behind her disappearance. And the only way to do this is to keep the information gathered as the result of the investigation is under seal. That statement basically says we can't give you the information. The reason we're not giving you information is because we don't want to taint this investigation. The Chaffee County Sheriff's Office, CBI and FBI, and the 11th Judicial District continue to devote our resources to this investigation. Not one day has passed since Suzanne was reported missing that our investigative team has not focused on Suzanne Morphew. Our investigative team is committed to releasing information to the public, highlighted in all caps and bold, only when it is in the best interest of Suzanne Morphew and this investigation. I'll repeat that. Our investigative team is committed to releasing information to the public only when it is in the best interest of Suzanne Morphew and the investigation. Therefore, no information has been released, because they are only going to release it if it's in the best interest. If there are any new developments in this case or information is going to be released, it will be disseminated through an official written press release. Thank you, Sheriff John Spezio, Chaffee County Sheriff. All right, so that's the information there. I'm going to show you also now, where is it? Here is Profiling evil. So this is the press. This is some of the information, some of the stuff that Profiling Evil is doing. They've set up information on their website. There's an actual link in their website where you can click on it, and I'll show it to you here. So there's a link that links. Actually, just go over to Profiling Evil's channel, click on their about section, and I'm sure that they have everything. I don't think I need to show it here, but I thought I did save it. Let me see. Maybe it's in one of these others. Barry Morphew. All right, so this is also to exclusive. Barry Morphew responds to explosive claims regarding the disappearance of his wife. Nearly 4 months have passed since anyone has seen missing Chaffee County woman, 49-year-old Suzanne Morphew. Update was published on Thursday. Sheriff acknowledges nearly 2 months have passed. Investigative team, blah, 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 blah. The sheriff's, I just want to see what Barry says here. Barry says, listen, Barry said during the Thursday morning phone call, Jeff Puckett was in prison for 9 years. Still Barry recovered. All right, so go over to Fox News right now, and you could read about it. I actually have to go in a few minutes because I got a little Labor Day function that I'm going to be attending. But again, listen, we need to keep the best interest in respecting Suzanne Morphew's family. And at the end of the day, folks, if we don't do that, what we have is disrespect for the family. And I think that, the channels that you hear speaking about it, Profiling Evil, Plunder, there's a ton of other content creators on YouTube that I would think has, the best interest in of the family. And I know I do, and I could speak only for myself. But at the end of the day, I appreciate the respect that you guys show in the comments, down below, in the comment section, during the chat. It all makes this a great content, a great channel to put out information. When you have content that's just being put out there just to be put out there, it makes no sense. I have the family's utmost thoughts and respect in my mind when I do these things. I talk about it with the utmost respect. And those of you who are here and that know me know that all the cases that I've followed, including the Queens Jogger that was killed in just a couple of towns over from me. I went to the trial, and I met her parents, and they had nothing but kind words for the NYPD, because we were ultimately the arresting authority that took her murderer and her rapist into custody and had a successful prosecution against them. So, at the end of it all, folks, I got to say, I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate the interaction. I thank you for everything that you guys are doing here as a part of this crime community. So thank you to everybody here. If you're not following me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, it's all one word, DutyRon. Please subscribe to my YouTube video share group and look at my website, DutyRon.com. A special thank you to my moderators and Joshua H. for helping me create great website interaction. There's a form on my website where you could leave messages. Winky, thank you so much for that super sticker. I appreciate you. Dawn Marie, thank you for coming in here. There's so many people here, and I appreciate you guys coming. But, there's just too many people for me to just start mentioning everybody here. Nancy, thank you so much. Mask Therapist, appreciate you being in here. Guys, have a great weekend. I'm going to have Chief Joe Fox Monday afternoon, 1 p.m. on Labor Day. That's an NYPD 3-star chief. He did 37 years in the NYPD. He's going to be joining me to talk about New York's crime problem. So Monday, Labor Day, this Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern, look for a live video of me and Chief Joe Fox. He's a wonderful, wonderful human being. He served 37 years in the New York City Police Department, 20 of those 37 years as a chief. And there's Oscar making his debut, weekend debut. He's back here, Oscar the hot dog. So I'll have Chief Joe Fox on, and then Monday night I will be on choir practice with Profiling Evil with Chris McDonough and Mike King over on Profiling Evil. I'll spend about 30 minutes with those guys, and we'll talk about our careers and my career and some of the cases that I covered. There he goes. There's Oscar, the hot dog. So I'll be on Profiling Evil on Monday night. Look on their channel for that promotion, and I'm going to be interviewing Chief Joe Fox, talk about the crime in New York City and all across the country and his thoughts. We're going to get some of his thoughts. It's going to be awesome. So, guys, thank you so much for being in here. Love and respect from my house to yours. Everybody have a safe and fun weekend. Love and respect from DutyRon.